So thank you for wanting to learn more about Salamander Designs. Really appreciate it. My name is Chris Descato. I'm Director of Sales for the US and Canada. And if you have any questions as I go through anything, please just type into the chat box or shout it out. I'm happy to get to any of those. So Salamander has been making beautiful furniture for 30 years. We started off and still are big on the residential side, but always going through the AV channel. So that led us to two things that are really rare to have in one company. It's a company that we have expertise in making things beautiful, but we also have expertise in AV and working with wires and wire management and cooling and all of those things as well. So what we bring to the table is absolutely beautiful furniture that ends up matching your decor, helping you speed up deployments and saving some serious money on infrastructure costs at the same time. So these two different fields really come together in a great way within Salamander. Everything I'm going to show you actually is built in Bloomfield, Connecticut. It's handcrafted. It's an environmentally conscious company. It's a 100% solar powered factory. We ship really quickly as well. So a piece of furniture, 2-year specifications, ships in as little as 5 weeks. And we also supply globally. That means that your clients can actually create standards that they use not only in the US, but across the globe. And we ship into Asia, into Europe, South America on a regular basis, helping to support our client base. But why these clients are using Salamander, and normally it starts out with one room, they test it out and it keeps on going, and then there's a standard, is because they find that we save them some serious money when it comes to the infrastructure. In fact, JP Morgan Chase says that we save them hundreds of thousands of dollars on multi-million-dollar projects. And I'll show you in a few slides how we're able to do that. So along with working with some of the largest organizations in the world, both on the enterprise side and also in higher ed, we also are great partners with lots of the technology side as well. So, for example, Crestron is one of our good partners. We actually, our table that I'll show you towards the end was originally designed along with them. We design a lot of our furniture through your collaboration with end users and also with these technology partners, making sure that as they're developing new systems, we are developing products that support those things. So, for example, if you go to Zoom's website, you'll see that a lot of their different designs for different room types is Salamander furniture. With Cisco, they have a brand new high-end showroom at One Penn Plaza in New York. That's all Salamander. We developed a table just for their panorama system, and I'll show you that as well. So we work with these folks, and not just on co-marketing, but really on where the future of this is going and the products that we come out with. So we have solutions for every sort of meeting space, from your small breakout rooms, your huddle spaces, your large meeting spaces, executive meeting spaces, and then also open plan spaces as well. So let's start off with talking about the furniture, because that is really where we save end users the most time and money, is by working with us on the furniture that supports displays. So it all starts out with the base cabinet. So we have this base cabinet. We have this in different dimensions. The standards are 12, 21.25, and 30 inches of depth. These are available from 1 bay to as many bays as is needed, which is important for making sure that the installation can also be ADA compliant. The way that this is constructed is inside the cabinet. The inside is extruded aluminum, and that allows us to be very flexible on the inside with the type of options that we offer. On the 12-inch deep cabinet, you can have standard shelving or vertical racking. Up to 5 are used per bay, so you can get a lot of equipment in there. On the standard depth and deeper cabinets, we can even have a refrigerator, pull-out trash recycling, and other amenities like that, aside from just being for AV. So that's the structure of the cabinet. And then we clad it with these different high-end veneers, and some foils as well. So all the woods here are hardwood veneers. In fact, the smooth veneers here actually come from North Carolina. And all these are the same price too, which makes quoting incredibly easy. So these companies that have standards with us, there are some floors, some buildings that maybe it's the same standard for the technology, right? So all the racking, the cooling, and those sorts of things need to be the same. But in one area, they want a walnut cabinet. In another area, they want an oak cabinet. All those things, they can mix and match this for different buildings, floors, and locations, and the pricing is not going to change. So it makes it very easy to budget. We also can go off book and work with designers, architects, or if you have something on site that we need to match, we do that all the time as well. All right, so that's the base cabinet. And if we stop there, what you'd end up with is a cabinet that is made for the AV. So cooling, wire management, all those things works really well, and it looks absolutely beautiful. But when you add in a display mount, that's when things get really interesting and you really start to pick up that time and money that I was talking about. So when you're installing a large display, as you know, a lot of times what you need to do is the backing, which is the wall reinforcement, the conduit, the electrical, and depending on what city you're in, maybe there's union people involved as well. And all of that can get very expensive. We find that on average, our clients tell us that they spend somewhere in the $3,000 to $6,000 range getting these walls ready. And of course, they've all had experiences where AV shows up and the conduit isn't as big as what was specified. Maybe the wall backing is in the wrong location or it was forgotten altogether. And now that causes a real problem. When you add in the display mount to our cabinet, all of that goes away. The cabinet is holding all the weight of the display. In fact, this cabinet that you see here, this is a 6-bay cabinet. It can go up to 2 400-pound displays without touching the wall at all. It can go in front of a window, for example, and it is UL listed, so it is very safe. Our most popular is definitely these low-profile cabinets. So this is 12 inches deep, and again, available 1 bay to as many bays as is needed. This particular one is 4 bays wide and is UL listed to hold a 400-pound display with just drywall anchors. So this one needs drywall anchors, and that's only to prevent tipping because it is only 12 inches deep. But if you have like a single bay, 2 bay, and 3 bays, you can easily go up to a 175-pound monitor. And of course, you can go longer and have your larger dual displays and things of that nature. But this avoids a lot of the coordination issues that happen and the time that's needed to run conduit and run cables through conduit. And then also when you get to serviceability later on, if a wire breaks in a wall, sometimes it's hard to run a new wire up through the same conduit. Whereas this, all the wires are going past the Modesty panel. The Modesty panel is what we call this piece of wood that's going from the cabinet up to right behind the display. So all the cables are running right through there. And this will give you a better idea of what that looks like. So you'll see here this Modesty panel ends right behind the display. And then the rest of the structure is the extruded aluminum, and we also include all the mounting that's needed for the displays. So this one cabinet is solving for ADA, it's solving for the wall construction, and it's also providing all the mounting apparatus that's needed for both the displays and the camera. We work with AV on the specification for things like how large the displays are going to be, how high the displays are going to be, where the camera is situated, and again, how high that camera is going to be off the ground. And the cabinet comes 4 bays or less, completely assembled with the mounting already on it. It's 100% ready to go to your height specifications. If it's more than 4 bays, it's simply 2 cabinets that get kitted together very easily on the job site. So aside from the AV side, again, we have non-AV centric accessories as well. So pull-out trash recycling is very popular. A refrigerator, we have pull-out drawers and shelves, and even file folders as well. And then for the standard depth or deeper cabinets, instead of vertical racking, we have a pull-out rack cartridge that just pulls right out of the cabinet for any gear that's in there. And of course, if you're installing gear in the cabinet, what's very important is airflow. So these cabinets were all made with the idea that you're going to put things in them that generate heat. So first off, every single bay in the cabinet has a passive vent. That passive vent there helps for just passive airflow. So you're getting air from the coolest point of the room and it's going out. You add in active cooling, now you're actively drawing air up again from from the coolest air in the room. We can vent out the back, out the front, or up past that Modesty panel or past the wall when you're using that 12-inch deep cabinet. And you can see here that the fans are quiet, and also they are thermostatically controlled. So they're not always on. They come on when they need to be on, and they ramp up as the cabinet gets hotter as well. This all helps control noise very effectively. One of the other things we do to control noise is we use oversized fans that then we can spin slower, so that way your meeting is not interrupted by the hum of fans. So showing some images here of some more unique problems that we solve. Sometimes there's a meeting space that's all windows, right? And then people are trying to figure out where they're going to put the technology and the display. Having a cabinet like this, which is backed, and we can back this in several different ways, is a very popular option to do that. So that way it'll look good from both the inside and the outside of that area. So along with those three depths of cabinets, we have something that we just launched and are starting to deploy in mass, which is called the Strut Wall. So this is kind of our smallest piece of furniture. This is only 2 inches deep. And again, the idea here is to be able to get displays on the wall without moving infrastructure, without any wall construction. So this piece over here can hold up to a 200-pound display. And then we also added another piece, which is called our ADA bar, which you can see at the bottom here. And that's ADA, for the blind for cane sweep, right? These come in a variety of those hardwood veneers and also comes in the white foil, same styles as our cabinets. And you can see here, this can very easily be used in a conference space, much less, much smaller than a cabinet would be. And inside here is 1 U of racking, so you can easily get those small boxes and everything that needs to go in for any sort of UC technology, right in there. This also has been popular, and actually our first large deployment was actually for higher ed. And this is an example of using it in a higher ed environment where it's holding the display up front, but then also for a flexible classroom situation, there are displays in the back that then these tables can be rolled around the different ways, and including underneath that display in the back. You can have a connectivity there as well, so we can cut in a connectivity into the Strut Wall, so you can have power, data, HDMI, or whatever connectivity that you need. So from this original deployment that we did for a large school system, we also now started to deploy these for wayfinding as well. So here's an example of what it would look like for wayfinding for a in the vertical orientation or the horizontal there. We can also you do these with logos as well and in corporate or school colors in order to match the environment. And you can see an example of that in this render over here. Yeah. Find it in a second. I can't find them. Uh-oh. So that is the Strut Wall. Another interesting, oh, here we go. That's what I was looking for. So this is something that we're doing for JP Morgan. So we actually just shipped both of these. In fact, there's a social media post on LinkedIn where you'll see the one on the right, not with the logo yet though. So the idea here is one of them is for actual wayfinding, but the other one is for their banks. So inside of their banks, they actually have this area where they do town hall meetings, and they have to pull a permit for a wall and create a wall for the display and for their camera speaker system. So now what they're doing is they're going to be starting to use this, and this is backed front and back in their corporate colors with a logo on top. So we can do a lot of these unique one-offs for organizations. This is a cabinet that was for a large divisible space. So this organization had a large divisible space. They wanted to have 3 conference rooms. And then they wanted to be able to open it up and easily take out all the conference technology and have an event. These cabinets are all on wheels, and that's why they're not connected, the way that normally, if it was a 7-bay cabinet, it would look like one cabinet. This way, they can easily wheel this off into a storage area while they're having their larger event. So there are also more of these really large format displays coming out. This one happens to be for LG. We're also working with NEC on theirs. And this is a direct view LED that is all kitted together. This happens to be 130 inch, and this is shown on one of our low profile 12-inch deep cabinets, again, being able to be deployed into a conference room without having to worry about wall construction or reinforcing that wall. So along with the cabinets, we also have Huddle Spaces. So this is an example of 2 of our Huddle Spaces. We have one that has a cabinet associated with it if you need more gear. Also, what's great about it is you don't have to move any electrical up in order to just place a cabinet. I was working with a large medical organization on one of their new projects. And as we were going through these small rooms, there would either be Huddle Spaces or there would be private offices. And then the last few rooms they didn't know what to do in. And then somebody said, it doesn't matter, we're using Salamander. The infrastructure in all these rooms is exactly the same. And they can make a decision on the fly as needed if they can either turn it into a private office or it's going to be a huddle space because there's no special infrastructure for anything. We also have the Huddle Light, which is a great option for when there's less people meeting. This can also hold up to a 55-pound display without any wall construction. So the standard huddle goes to 2 displays over here. You can see inside here, there's a nice wire trough. So you can get your cut-ins and the wires easily through the table into the cabinet up to the display. We have a variety of different standard finishes, both hardwood veneers, our tabletops. The most popular is a powder-coated MDF in a butter knife edge. And then we also have solid surface. And then from there, we can also do custom lengths of tables and different widths and different legs as well. You can see here that this leg is larger, and that's for an extra cubby that they have right out here at the end. You can see here, here's another one with 2 cubbies over here. So what's nice about Salamander is even though we have a lot of standard products, we work with organizations all the time to tweak to their exact specifications. So that leads me to our conference room tables. So the conference room tables, this is what I was talking about where we originally had partnered with Crestron. And we partnered with them because they were very interested in getting a table that worked really well with retractors. And that's something that is hard to do because the legs sometimes aren't big enough to hide all the wires and things of that nature. So this table over here can very easily hide all of your connections, all the wires. It uses a pedestal base, which makes something else easier too, and that's where to find the core. If you're going to be coring your floor, one of the coordination problems is hitting that leg of the table exactly so it's not off center somewhere or not in the middle of the 2 legs. With using a pedestal base, we get away from some of that because as long as it's somewhere in the middle, it's very easy to make sure that the table is going to be placed over that core. Another nice thing about this setup is the entire side from the kick panel all the way up comes completely off, allowing for ultimate access for all the wire management. The other thing it does is if you think about some corporate tables that you may have been around, if there's a leg that was meant for technology, it typically has a door. And if the leg is or the table is more than let's say a few years old, a lot of times that door doesn't latch anymore. It's kind of off its hinges a little bit, and that's because knees hit it and then the thing opens up and the door keeps on being used, and it just gets weaker over time. This, how we're doing it here, it's a large panel and it's on really beefy hooks. So this actually goes in and then drops down, and it's never going to get weaker over time, so you're never going to have that problem with this table. So this table comes in any length that is needed. And then we have rectangle, trapezoid, and boat shape for the shapes. Boat shape is the best shape for in-person meetings. Trapezoid is getting more and more popular as more rooms are requiring UC technology. As we go past this stage of COVID and things are starting to normalize, what is going to continue is more people are going to be working remotely than ever before. I think we all know that. And that means that more meetings that take place in person are going to have more people that are remote, right? So that means that designing the room for video conferencing is very important, and a trapezoid table helps out with that because it helps everyone be seen, it helps everyone see the display, and it also helps everyone be on camera and hit that microphone as well. So with the a trapezoid table, that's getting really popular, and of course we have standard rectangle as well. Inside that pedestal base is where all the magic happens. So we have the length to work with gravity fed or with mechanical retractors. Inside here, you can do racking for gear. You can add in fans. The top here rides along this extruded aluminum crossbeam. So there's about an inch gap between the pedestal and the bottom of this top, creating airflow. So if you do have gear in here, you can also cool it. And of course, we work with the AV side, and our engineers will work with their design engineers to make sure that any openings that are needed for cable cubbies and retractors are going to be able to be popped in at the job site very easy. So one thing you never have to worry about is anyone having to drill in or cut in to a piece of furniture from Salamander when it's at the job site. So we offer this in matching veneers for our cabinets. Of course, you can also go off book as well. Same thing with the tops. We use Wilson Art, both the traceless top, which is soft to the touch and fingerprint resistant, and then the standard matte finish as well. We do offer some standard accessories. We offer a flip top and a cable cubby, and then we also have some cable ports and other accessories that can go onto the tables or the huddles. But we also work with third parties all the time. So AV can actually bring whatever is specified, for your favorite, your connection port, literally to the table. So I mentioned a table that we made specifically for Cisco. Now this is going to launch as our higher end table. This is going to be called the Infinity Series. And this table here we made, working with Cisco designers to match their panorama system. So this comes in several lengths from, I believe, 8 feet to 21 feet. So aside from the furniture, we also have a line of mobile carts. So these mobile carts we have available both in electric lift and fixed height. They can go up to the largest of displays. Our fixed height is up to a 400-pound display, the electric lift up to 300 pounds. They all have the ability to add on and support your cameras, your speakers, any gear that's going to be also associated with the system. And the legs and the wheels are actually medical grade. These things are large, very easy to move around. The legs are offset, making it very easy to go through doorways and around obstacles as well. So these carts, they look great, and they also are very easy to move around. Because of the wheels, 4 and 5 inches, they all have wire management as well. And one of the most popular things is this guy down here. It says number 6. That's a 30-foot reel of retractable power cable, and that allows for you to move this into any space and easily find the outlet. We also do this in dual displays, so you can do dual displays up to 75 inches. Along with the gray bottoms here that you have for the electric lift, we also do white, and we also do logos as well, as you can see here. Along with mobile carts, we also do this on furniture as well. And we can do furniture like this guy over here, which I showed you, but if you need something that you wanted to look more like everything else in your environment, but be mobile, we also can do that in a smaller form factor as well. I'm just finding that picture here. Here we go. So you have something like this over here on the bottom, right. So this is a about a 75-inch on a 3-bay cabinet on casters. So you kind of bring it all together. A Salamander conference room goes together very easily. You avoid construction costs. You avoid a lot of the issues with working with lots of different trades in order to get the design and the technology in, because we really understand both of those. So we can work with the design on the finishes and things of that nature while we're also working with AV on everything from the type of TV, the speaker, the camera, and all the connections that are needed to make sure that everything ships in a way that goes together very seamlessly on the job site.